Special thanks to Tim Wellner for becoming a member of the main event tier over on Patreon. If you want to be like Tim and support the channel, check out the link in the description down below and become a member over on Patreon. Let's get into things. Welcome back to Spike Piledriver. On today's episode of Local to Global, we're going to find out who is the inaugural winner of the Piledriver Grand Prix. We've got the final matches in the block stages, then the knockout round, the semi-final and the final, all culminating at our May 1998 pay-per-view High Voltage. Welcome back, my name is Anders. This is Local to Global on Total Extreme Wrestling 9. This is a series where we started in January of 1992 using the Great 1992 Chronicles mod, created a brand new zero everything promotion called Spike Piledriver Wrestling, and we are now on the climb where we are third biggest in the world, soon to be second biggest in the world, only behind the WWF, which is our target to become number one and get to the biggest size possible in the game. We've got a long way to go yet, though, even though we are pretty much on the heels of WCW. We're bigger than WCW in the US. Right, if you're new here, get subscribed, like the video, check out the Patreon link. Thanks for that. Everyone who's on Patreon, your names are at the end of the video. Throw your comments down below on who you think at the beginning of this video is going to win the Piledriver Grand Prix. And if you comment after the winner has been shown, then you are cheating. But only yourself. Comment anyway. Comment your thoughts throughout the whole video. But without any further ado, it's episode 163 of Unleashed, our weekly TV show. We're going to go do that in a second. We're going to check out our championship situation beforehand, though. Piledriver Grand Prix is what we're all about today. This tournament has been running since January. The winner will be announced the winner will win the Grand Prix at High Voltage at the beginning of May. Then we'll get a future championship shot at the World Heavyweight Champion. Speaking of the World Heavyweight Champion, it's Raven. He's current three-time champion. He defended last time out a week ago in game, last episode in real life, against the debuting American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. He's been champion now for 98 days, but very much he's in part of the Piledriver Grand Prix. So his focus has very much been there, as has the whole company's. So it's only two successful defences so far, whereas in this point, in a normal reign, he probably would be on 6, maybe 7. You can see, in fact, you can see here, RVD, 91 days, 6 defences. There you go. He's a three-time champion. He held it for a record 427 days, all the way back in 95 and most of 1996. Next up, we've got our junior heavyweight champion, which is Perry Saturn. Yes, he does fall under the 220-pound limit. Do not question it. He beat Taka Michinoku back in February and recently defended against William Regal, although Lance Storm turned on him and started siding with Regal, which is going to be developing at some point in the future. Tag team champions are Matt and Jeff Hardy. They won back in December and are now embroiled in a feud with the above average team, which consists of Joe Kazana, the future X-Pac, the future Triple H and the future Kane, under The Kid, Paul Levesque and Angus King names. That's the above average team. Joe Kazana, above average, everyone's favourite. Love him. They will be feuding with the Hardys for the next few months at least. TV champion is Samu. Again, he is in the Piledriver Grand Prix, so his focus has very much been on the Grand Prix rather than the TV title, which he won back on Boxing Day, defeating Tatsumi Fujinami, who had held it for 50 days, or 49 days, 7 weeks. Right! Block A ends in the first episode. Block B ends in the second episode. Then we've got our knockout games where second and third from each group face each other. Then on the fourth TV episode of the episode, we've got the semi-finals, which lead immediately into the pay-per-view, which sees the finals happen. Predictions in the comments. Let's go, and we'll show you what's happening here. Right, it's 9,000 people in the Extraco Event Centre, and let's just get this up here because I'll show you the full bit. Block A of the Grand Prix ends tonight. Top 3 already locked in. Don't worry, it's already locked in. But who will win the block and advance straight to the semi-finals? We've got Ricky Steamboat on 12, unbeaten. Rob Van Dam on 10, and Davey Boy Smith on 9. Now, Steamboat faces RVD, so all Steamboat needs to do is play for the draw. Just avoid defeat and he wins the block. But if RVD wins, he will also win the tiebreaker head-to-head, so he will be the group winner. Davey Boy's guaranteed to be wrestling in the knockout round in 2 weeks, so he just kind of needs to make sure. Well, it will depend who he faces. If he wins and RVD doesn't, then he'll face third place in the other block. So it might be, in theory, an easier knockout match. But we'll get to that when we get to that. This is Block A. It's finishing tonight. Segment rating for the video is 69, which is a nice start to the show. Not too bad at all. 69. Moving on to our opening contest, which is the final Block A performance for Samu, the TV champion, and he defeats Angel Azteca, and we'll give you the final points table at the end of it. Don't worry, it's a bit of a dead rubber, this one, but Samu, I think he's up to 8 points now. I think that puts him on, or maybe 7, because did he draw? Was he the one who drew with Davy Boy? I think he was. He might be on to 7 points. I did have it written down, but I've lost my notepad. 82, though, for the opening contest is exceptional. Angel Azteca still getting a good push. He's going to have to go back into the junior division now, though, so hopefully he's nice and over. We can check that at the end of the show. Then we get the above average team. They arrive, and the kid announces... Oh, God, everyone was poor without a script here. The kid announces that he picked up an injury during the week. Whiplash, I think it was whilst he was working for GWF or somewhere. He works a lot of places. So he's going to be forfeiting his final Block A match tonight. The good news is that teammate Joe Kazana picks up 2 points for the victory. So it's all good. It's all good. In order not to disappoint their fans, though, the remaining 3 members of the above average team will be in trios action next. Kid struggled. Levesque struggled. King struggled. Everyone struggled. Got a 37. Let's move on. It's going to happen eventually, this push. They do get the victory, though, over the Dublin Destroyer, who's making his debut, and the Killer Bees. Paul Levesque making Jim Brunzel submit with the inverted Indian. Deathlock match was okay. 50. Not too bad at all. But there we go. Yeah, great. Dublin Destroyers here for 6 months. We've refreshed the jobbers. We've got a few more jobbers joined. We've also got a few contracts out for other people as well. And I've spotted something with Scott Hall, which I'm going to mention in a second. Well, after the end of the show. Right, we move up to Davy Boy, and he's already assured of his place in the knockout round, but he will still do everything he can to win tonight and clinch second in the block. He'll find out his next week who his opponent will be on the 24th of April, but no matter who it is, Davy is going to win and go on to high voltage to win the Pile Driver Grand Prix. That will be a 72 rated angle crowd, white hot. Loved it. Davey a little bit struggled without script, but still okay. We move forward to... There we go. It took a little while to process there. Davy Boy defeated Tatsumi Fujinami, so he's done everything he can to make sure he is in the best place possible. He's now up to 11 points, so he's technically still in... He's now up to second at the moment. Gets a 70 rating for the match. Both men just inside the 60s. Davey with a 69. Tatsumi Fujinami is slowly tailing off now from when he joined the company. He was slightly better. He's obviously lost a bit of popularity along the way. But he's got a 60 for his in-ring performance. 70 for the match is good. Leaves us with just one match left in the block. And before we get into it, RVD cuts a terrible promo. Struggles with that script. He hit and miss every single week he cuts a promo here. But he promises that tonight will be further proof that he is the best damn wrestler. Steamboat's good, but Van Dam is just that much better. He may have lost to Davey under dubious circumstances a few weeks ago, but when the count is done, RVD will have won Block A and is going straight to the semi-finals. 66 for the promo, and we get into our match, which should hopefully be an absolute cracker. It is a 93 as RVD defeats Steamboat after a 5-star frog splash after interference from Goliath. It says 20 minutes and 4 seconds, but that's because our stopwatch is a little bit slow. It's a 20-minute time limit, so it should be just under 20 seconds, but we don't care about that. Pile Driver Grand Prix Block A is done. Steamboat and RVD joint winners, but RVD wins on tiebreak. 93 for the match. Steamboat eats another defeat. A fantastic main event, though. Joint second best match in our history. Great stuff there, and afterwards RVD is declared the winner, but the real story is Goliath, and he continues his attack on Steamboat, chokeslams him through the announce table at ringside. Will Steamboat be cleared to wrestle on April 24th, or has the Goliath finally slayed the dragon for good? We'll find out in a couple of weeks, but 64 for the segment rating to close the show. A little bit disappointing, but Goliath is getting better and better, and moreover, and hopefully he's going to be in a position where he can go with Steamboat. But that's the end of the show. 85 for the TV taping, up in 37 regions, stunted in 3, but we'll get to that. That is the April 10th edition of Unleashed. Made 442,000 on the night. Popularity, you can see we are edging closer and closer to big is our company size. In the US, we need to be 77 or higher in 5 regions, and we are now 1, 2, 3, nearly 4, and not far off 5 and 6 there as well. We are growing in Canada, growing in the UK, growing in Japan, growing in Europe. We've done a couple of shows in Mexico as well. Now we're up to 30 there. We need to get to 40 to get on TV in Mexico in those two regions. So that is something we will keep an eye on over the next few episodes. But that is Unleashed. We'll have a look at the final Block A table in a second when it processes through the rest of the day, and then I'll show you the new jobbers we've got. I say jobbers, the undercard we've refreshed. Some people have gone, some people are coming in. We've also got 2 contract offers out to people who are definitely not on the undercard. And I did also have another look. I don't know if anyone spotted this when I flashed up Scott Hall in the last episode, but his stamina is absolutely shot. So we've signed him on a 3-year contract, and I'll show you his stamina in a second. It's here. It's not very good. Yeah, it's 15. His stamina is 15. So I don't understand. Well, I do understand. It's drink, drugs. That's what's done it. But I don't know what we're going to do with him now. He's definitely not going to be a main event push. That's for sure. But he's got good overness. He's 63 popularity everywhere. But I didn't check his stamina. I just saw all the green and blue in the physical section, and well, just didn't spot that his stamina and athleticism are down so low. Never mind. Speaking of new people. Whoops. I think Jack Victory, he's new. He's just basically... I did a search for people with between 20 and 30 US popularity and signed a load, essentially. So Jack Victory's come in. I think we've already seen the Dublin Destroyer. Vampire Warrior is also joining us as well. So the Gangrel, that is. And also, Jamie Dundee, Sonny Trout, Bruiser Mastino. We've also got PN News. He's being offered a contract. And then here's the big one. Scott Steiner, who is the current WCW champion, and Kerry Von Erich from the WWF have both been offered contracts. And before the TV show, we were in the best position to get them. So we're going to see what happens here. Kerry Von Erich has had an offer, and he is not seriously considering it. So that means if we check this page, he is not considering their offer. We're the only one he's seriously considering. So that's good. So we don't need to worry about him. Negro Aztec has gone. We've basically got rid of a load of people's contracts have expired. So Ultimo Guerrero is gone. Kerry Von Erich made another offer for. Kakina Maximus is back from injury. These are all what I've already done. Lightning Kid's injured there. Look, Whiplash at the UWF show. Let's have a look. Scott Steiner, not seriously considered. No. I think that means we are the main person. This is a company, rather, for Scott Steiner as well. Let's just quickly up. We're the only one he's seriously considering. He's going to be expensive. But current WCW World Heavyweight Champion, so there is that. He has been the World Champion there since Starrcade 104 days ago. Obviously, when we got David Boy Smith, he was the WWF Intercontinental Champion. Kerry Von Erich is not currently a champion there, but he has held the European title twice. And I think the Intercontinental Championship, has he held it in-game or just the once before game? But he was the World Tag Champion with the Bulldog, actually, back last year, a year ago. So that's interesting to know. He's coming over to join his former tag team partner, known as the Motley Crew. Look at that. Excellent. Right. We'll keep an eye on those two. Hopefully they will sign before the next TV taping. But we shall look at that. Broadcasting-wise, I think we've got one more week left on A&E. It expires on the 24th of April, which is a TV day. So hopefully it expires on that day and we get the 24th on MTV because it's much bigger coverage. It's very big rather than big. But we'll get to that and see how we get on. Obviously, the TV Asahi 2 in Japan doesn't end until December, so that one there won't kick in until then. Headline Sports ends in August. We'll have to see whether we can get a bigger coverage in Canada in a few months' time. Eurosport again ends in August, but we're going to replace that with ITV. We were already doing our events on ITV alongside a couple of extra companies in Europe, broadcasters in Europe, just to see how we get on there. Right, let's move forward 6 days for the end of Block B. Okay, we are back for the Block B finale, and it's unusual because we're on this screen. Don't worry, I'll explain why. We started recording, but my microphone wasn't connected, so yeah, that didn't work. We've done 2 segments so far. Basically, we went through the permutations of Block B. Raven is already secure on 12 points. He has won the group. He can't be caught. It's basically plain sailing for him. Then we've got 4 other wrestlers all vying for two spaces. Yeah, but Kakina is definitely going to be in the top 3 because he's already on 8 points. He can only be caught. He can't be passed by 2 people, basically. And that's because he holds the tiebreaker, so he beat both Christian Cage and Brutus. So if they win their matches, they can only tie Kakina, and he wins the tiebreaker, so he finishes ahead of them. And Mero is on 7 points, and a victory for Mero will put him through, but he's facing Raven, so if he loses to Raven, he's out. He needs to beat Raven if Brutus wins, but if Cage wins, he can draw with Raven and still get through on 8 points because he holds the tiebreaker over Kakina, I believe. Oh, there's some combination there. Bagwell can also get through as an outside shot, so if Cage, Brutus, and Mero all lose, Bagwell can get a victory. He'll get onto 7 points because he and Mero drew their match. That means he will force... Well, there's no tiebreaker between them because we don't have goal difference in wrestling, so they would both qualify. What happened is that was a video package at the beginning. That got a 67. Then we had a 69 rated match where Terry Funk defeated Christian Cage. We'll go back in a second and show you that. Well, I can't really. I can go back to the booking screen. And then we had this promo afterwards, and we're back to live, I guess. Terry Funk grabbed a microphone. He struggled without a script, but he hinted at a heel turn. He was far from happy. Funk believed that he hasn't given it his best in the Piledriver Grand Prix, and that people are starting to call him soft in his old age. Now, he doesn't agree with that, and he isn't soft, and he saw Dusty Rhodes walking around backstage last week, and that lit a fire inside Funk that he thought had burned out long ago. So, Funk is inspired by the fact Dusty is here, and we're hinting at a heel turn for Funk, so you can imagine how that's going to go down. If we quickly return to the booking screen, so we've got a 67 for the video package, a 69 for the Funk Cage match, and then the Funk post-match promo got a 66. So there we go. Let's go back to the show, where we go back into the Hardy Boys against new tag team Big O Inc., which is PN News and Bruiser Mastino. It's not PN News, though. It's Paul New, I believe, is what his name is. Anyway, they debuted, got decent gimmick ratings, decent in-ring performance. Hardy's put on a great show, got a 68 match out of them, though. They made their 9th defense of the World Tag Team titles, and Jeff Hardy, once again, head and shoulders above everyone else. The Hardys beat the bigger fat guys, Big O, in their first match in the company, but there's some new jobbers some new members of the undercard. But the Hardys did well to get a 68 match out of them. Moving on, Brutus does what he needs to do with victory over the Patriot. He can do nothing else now. It's only a 55. They have chemistry, but neither man really has it in them to put out a good match anymore. It's 1998. It's the Patriot against Beefcake. Of course, it's going to be great. But 55 is okay. Not the best match. But Patriot gets a big fat 0 for the whole tournament so far. And Brutus gets himself to 8. So he's currently in the top 3. But that can all change because we've got 2 more matches left. And they will have a big impact on things. We move on to Kirkina and Bagwell. Bagwell's out. He can't force... Well, I don't think he could have forced anyway now, actually, with Brutus winning. So he was out before this match. But Kirkina squashes him with a belly-to-belly suplex and puts it beyond doubt. This gets a 76, though, and is actually a really, really good match. Kirkina's coming into his own now. His popularity is back up there. I say back up there. It's now up there with the rest of the throne, kind of at the same sort of level as Samu now as well. And Bagwell's always good in the ring. 76 is a great rating for these pair. Kirkina puts himself secured in second place now. He's on 10. It's now between Brutus on 8 and Mero on 7. Mero's got the match in hand. Can he beat Raven in the main event? That is what it all boils down to. And before we get to there, Raven believes that lesser men would be seeing tonight as a night off and a day of rest. But the world champion is looking to prove his dominance and stature by being the only man to go 7-0 in either block. Mero's story ends here. His comeback trail reaches a dead end, and his world title hopes and dreams are done. They're over. It's done. 81 for the promo, and that is obviously famous last words because with a quick roll-up after 18 minutes, Mark Mero gets the upset victory over the world champion, and secures himself in the top 3. Raven wins the group, a 75 rating for the match, but Mero has qualified as well. He finishes 3rd, behind Kakina, behind Raven, but crucially in the top 3 on 9 points. Quick roll-up after 18 minutes. Flash pinfall victory. Raven had it all in hand, and then he dropped it at the last minute. Well, the last 2 minutes. 75, that was a good end of... Ooh. Mero struggled going off script. Still got 77, though. Afterwards, he's done it. He thanks the fans for having his back. Celebrates the upset victory with the front row and states that this victory should put Raven on notice. Mero is coming back for his world title, and the dream is still very much alive. I need to stop using the dream now because Dusty's here. So that kind of has different connotations. 76 rating for the TV show. It's not amazing, but everything was good. Nothing was bad. Nothing was exceptional. So still gaining 26 regions. And yeah, they're the ones you would expect. 400 and something thousand once again. Excellent recap. Up to 71 in New England, 58 in Quebec, 32 in the south of England, 23 in the Central European region now. So as well, getting everywhere's getting up. Still steadily growing. Not quite at big yet in the US, but I think after a pay-per-view we might be very close, if not there. But that is the post-show complete. We'll go through and look at the final standings for the tournament. We'll see whether Steiner and Von Erich have agreed to join us or not. And then we'll move forward for the next week and hopefully remember to make sure that my microphone is plugged in before hitting record. It happens all the time. It happens more often than you would imagine. But we'll try and make sure it doesn't happen again. But processing now, when you are 6.5 years into a save, processing time between days takes a while. So I've got longer to fill now than I used to have after a show. So there we go. We're still processing worker skills and worker contract and there we go. We're okay. Right. Let's have a look. Funaki has agreed to continue. Von Erich is still on the decisions awaiting a response. So does that mean that WCW World Champion Scott Steiner is on his way to Spike Piledriver Wrestling? Well, we'll see. Nothing of any interest here. Stan Hansen's injured. Great. 4.02 TV rating, 3 million viewers. Excellent stuff. Let's have a look at the roster and see if we can find... Oh, look! No. There he is! There he is! The WCW champion is on his way. His contract officially starts in 22 days, so he will not be debuting in this episode. Someone who does need to debut in this episode is Scott Hall, because he's here now, and as mentioned, got no stamina. So we'll figure that one out. Scott Steiner, though, doesn't have any of those issues. In his prime, he is definitely going to bring the business. If you look here, he's getting some... Oh. That's his best match so far in 1998 is only a 71. He's only appearing on pay-per-view matches. Why is that? He defeated Ultimate Warrior for the world title in a 73 rated match back at Starrcade. He's not had a blue rated match all the way since Slamboree 97. That just shows you the state of WCW right now. And I talk about the state of WCW because, well, Bradshaw took over and it's been going downhill ever since. Look, they're down to 67 now in the US. They are losing hand over fist. So they've lost 10 popularity points in a year and it keeps going down month on month. They're just not doing anything good at the moment. If we look at the show history, Spring Stampede was their most recent pay-per-view, got a 64. They're getting poor ratings. I mean, that's at our arena. We drew more than them at the Thompson Bowling Arena. Their pay-per-view before that, uncensored, 61. Oh dear. Am I doing the right thing by bringing their champion over when he's the champion of a downtime? 59 for Super Brawl. What about Sold Out? 64. They're not doing great, are they? Even with Steiner on top, they're not doing great. I bet Ron Simmons wishes he'd joined here instead of staying with WCW. Their championship situation looks like that. Old friend Jerry Lynn is their 3-time Cruiserweight champion. Rick Martel's US champ. Steiner, obviously, is their outgoing world champion. Will he defend the title and lose it before he joins us, or will he do a bulldog and leave with the belt? Who knows? Tag champs are on, and Zabisco still. And Terrence Garvin is the World TV Champion. We might as well take a look at the WWF whilst we're here. I don't know when the last time we did this was. But Papa Shango's the European Champion. Bret Hart has recently beat Hulk Hogan for the World title not too long ago. If we look there, that was at WrestleMania 14. He defeated Hogan for the title. What a strange world we live in. Brian Knobbs, for some reason, is the Intercontinental Champion. Most recent King of the Ring winner was Coco Beware. I still don't get that. Royal Rumble was won by Perfect in 1998, which is good. And tag champs are Bossman and DDP. And there we go. I wasn't expecting to do this, but we have done. Right, the tournaments, that's what we're here for. No active tournaments left. Completed tournaments. We're going to have to set up a knockout round for 6 people. So, Block A was a tie at the top, 12 and 12 for Steamboat and Van Dam. Van Dam wins the tiebreaker, though, so he tops the group. Davey Boy finishes 3rd on 11, and then best of the rest is Samu on 7. Block B was tighter. Just not at the top. Raven ended up winning by 2 points in the end. He got 12. Kakina got 10. And Mark Merrow got 9 to finish 3rd. Brutus just misses out. As do Funk and Cage and Bagwell, who were all in it up until the last day. Essentially, it was just the Patriot, who was nowhere near anything, got 0. The only one to get 0 in either group. So there's that. There we go. Okay, we need to do a new elimination format. And we need 6. Can we do 6? Yes, we have to do 8 singles and have a bye. So how do we work this out? So we want to add Rob Van Dam for winning Block A into position 1, side B. No, side B, because this is going to be a bye in side 1. Okay. Then we have Davey. Well, no, Davey didn't finish 2nd, so we need Kakina, who finishes 2nd in his group, to be inside A, and then Davey inside B, because he finished 3rd in Block A. Then we want Block A 2nd place, which was Steamboat, to be in 3rd. Then we want Merrow. He finished 3rd in his block. And then position 4, we want Raven, side A, and then a bye. And we need to do this. So, 1998 Pile Driver Grand Prix Knockout Stage. Create tournament. Now, ta-da! RVD's received a bye, Raven's received a bye. Kakina against Davey, Steamboat against Merrow will happen next week on TV on the 24th. Then the semi-finals will happen on Unleashed on the 1st, and then straight after, High Voltage, on the 1st of May, we'll see the final, and we'll see what goes on here. So it'll be RVD against the winner of Kakina and Davey, Raven against the winner of Steamboat and Merrow. Who knows? Oh, we can't have a Raven Steamboat final, that means, by the way. Just putting that out there. Let's see. Let's see how we get on. That's the end of this week. We'll be back in a few days' time. No, a few seconds' time for you. 6 days' time for me in game. Right. Okay. We're set. We're ready for the knockout rounds. Let's go. Alright then, before we actually get into Unleashed, we have a bit of contracts to get our head around. Also, Unleashed is finishing its run on A&E and will be starting tonight on MTV, so that's worked out absolutely perfectly for the knockout rounds of the tournament, so expect more viewers and more popularity gains as well. Maybe we will be at big stage level size by the time we get to the end of this episode. One thing to note, Andre the Giant's contract is up, and I think we're not going to renew his contract. He's kind of not been used and is just sitting on a fat paycheck, so we're not going to do so. But 2 people whose contract are up, who we are definitely going to renew, are RVD and Raven. It's now time. They've been on their written per show deals for 2 years, I think. I think they were the first written contracts we did. Now we need to give them big old pay rises and get them locked down for even longer. So we'll start with RVD. We'll do this live. He only wants 70k a month. I mean, we'll give him more than that if he wants it, but no one else yet has put in a bid for him. So that's good. Exclusive written, Ironclad. 3 years is what we want to give him. So, I mean, let's just offer that and see if anything comes out of it. Yeah, I think he's happy. It should be nice and easy because no one's made any rival bids yet. If no one makes a rival bid for either of our 2 biggest sort of homegrown stars, then fantastic. Like, I've got nothing to worry about here. I was kind of expecting some offers to have come in for either man at some point, but Raven now does want a little bit more than RVD, so that's fair. He's a little bit more over, got generally good overness around the world, but I mean, still, no one has come in for any other offer with him, so we're going to try 3 years, 124,600 a month, no signing bonus because no one wants him other than us. So just go for it, I guess. Not physically. Okay, we'll just get rid of house shows then. We don't do them anyway. There we go. Wants Oh! He wants creative control? I mean, you're already part of the booking team, mate. Would be willing to consider if financial terms were improved. Okay, we'll give you 130,000. And we'll give you a bonus of 10% per event. Let's see if that works. Correct. No. Okay. We'll give you 50k signing bonus. That going to help? No. 135. 1, 2, 3. No. Okay. What about 45% of merchandise? No. Okay. I don't want to give him creative control. This is taking more money. There we go. 150k a month. It's a lot, but I'd rather give him that than creative control, to be honest. So that's something I'm not willing to give him. Right. Let's have a quick look at our coverage as we go in. We're now very big for our TV show because it's on MTV. Still on Eurosport here in Europe and UK. Japan and Canada are medium, but they do change when we get to... Everything changes when we get to events because we have very big events here. Still on Comcast on pay-per-view here. We can't change that for a few months. ITV coverage in the UK. A little bit of extra coverage in Europe as well to try and plug the gaps. Not far off from Mexico. We're not going to focus on broadcasting deals tonight because we do that every week. Right, we'll go in and do Unleash now, and you'll get to see me just tell everyone to have the night off because I've not booked them tonight, which is something we do every week just to make sure that morale doesn't start tanking. It does tank anyway when you don't use people, but gives them a little bit of a reason not to essentially be worried because they're just not here. Alright, Andre's not being used tonight. It's basically just go down the list of anyone who's above unimportant. I've basically done the filter here that it's major starter recognisable. And if they're not being used, I just give them the night off. It's just easier that way. It does mean I have to try and remember every time who I have booked and who I haven't booked, but generally speaking, I do remember. But yeah, I literally just go down the list and give the night off. And because of how the tournament has taken up a lot of focus, we probably ought to start getting into the habit of booking more people, more variety of people, and building up our sort of undercard storylines as we head towards high voltage. Right, tonight's venue, we're not going to be in the southeast because we're going to be there next week for pay-per-view, so I think we're going to hit the Tri-State tonight. We've not been there since the end of March, and we'll go with our pick the best. We're back at the Rochester Community War Memorial, and so we'll go there. Booking team, there's not much to do on the booking team. We've filled out, we've capped out at the creative. We get too much creative energy for what we use anyway, so we'll just get some character ideas, and we'll probably have to use them at some point as well. Just spam through a few of these. Big gamble for Davy Boy there. We had one for Terry Funk as well. Ricky Steamboat. It's a good batch, and we'll just get a creative finish whilst we're here as well, and maybe even an angle. Let's do that. Let's use them all. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Right, wonderful, wonderful. Locker room incidents. It's not normally anything wonderful. Scott Hall failing to show up. For some reason, when Mark Curtis pops up as head of talent relations, comes up as Cowabunga the Ninja Turtle, even though he's not. But he's giving Scott Hall the stern warning. Small negative. Scott Hall is going to be. We're going to regret signing Scott Hall, aren't we? That's what I think. Let's go through these character ideas whilst we are here. Just get the filter off. Right, so Davy Boy had one. Creative idea here. It's a big gamble. We might as well use it though. He's already over, like Rover. Success. Wonderful. Let's see. There's one for Terry Funk as well. Let's give him that one. We've got RVD and Steamboat to use. So we'll give Funk likely to succeed. Was a success. Excellent. Steamboat, we'll give you one. Because, it's likely to succeed. We might as well try it. Excellent. RVD had one as well. Let's give it him. It's a big gamble, but we'll try it out anyway. Failure. Never mind. Still red hot though. Should we try and give him one? We'll give him that near certainty one. Just see if we can boost him back up. It was a success. There we go. Back to white hot. Let's see. Some of our newer signings. On our new signings like Dusty Rhodes, let's give him a safe bet. See if we can get his momentum up. Nice and warm now. Where's Scott Hall? I know he's about to debut. Let's give him a likely to succeed. If I could say it was a failure. Excellent, wonderful. Let's double down Double down, success on that one. Got him to cool. So we've made a mess of that. Nice way to start his debut. Right, we do not need to do anything else other than add the pre-booked stuff onto the card. And hopefully I've done some maths right and not overbooked, essentially. Let's stick on that angle note there as well. Let's just do that because we might as well. We haven't used any angle notes in a while. The main event's going to go long. I can't remember what creative finishes we've got. We've probably got quite a few. Let's use that safe. We've got some that need using. That one he's using in June, so we'll get that one on there. Going to try and go a little bit top heavy with the creative ideas today, just to see what we can do. We'll drop in the Hall promo here. Hall's going to cut a promo. Then we're going to have the second knockout game match. It's not a football tournament, is it? Can't remember what else we were going to say. We'll do these guys here in this tag team match. Then we will have this one, which will have a creative finish as well, because we've got one of those for Goliath. I'm sure of it. It's likely to succeed. We might as well go all in on that, guys. Start out with a Funk promo, and I forgot to add that promo in there as well, so we'll do that. It needs to be here. No, here. There. Right, 90 minutes. We've only got 4 matches, though, because one of our matches is 23 minutes long. So I just need to make sure I was actually recording then. I forgot I stopped. Whatever. I forgot. No, I needed to check that I hadn't forgot. I can't talk. Anyway, let's start the show. This is why I do that bit off camera, because I just lose track of everything. 10,559 in attendance in the Rochester War Memorial, and we've got a cracking job from Terry Funk to start the night. He cuts a promo, and he's still pissed off after failing to qualify in the Piledriver Grand Prix. To prove that he's still got it, the former world champion calls out the biggest, baddest bastard in the back to give him a one-on-one match, and he'll show that this old Funker has still got it. An 85 promo from Funk. He has definitely still got it on the mic. And then in the ring, he gets destroyed by Goliath. 79 rating for that one. Funk puts Goliath over, though, which is fine. Had no issues about it whatsoever. That's showing that Goliath is very much getting a good push. And the creative finish was a success as well. The push is working for Goliath. He's over enough to get Terry Funk, former world champion, to just go, yeah, sure, whatever. Here's the victory. Funk's heel turn is nearly complete, though he's going to obviously lose his bejesus at Dusty... No, he's going to lose his shit. That's what I meant to say. He's going to lose his shit at Dusty Rhodes soon, is basically what's going to happen. 79 for the promo, for the match, sorry. Excellent way to start the night. And then we bring it down a little bit as Big Bad Joe Kazana, above average team, and Paul Levesque doesn't have a nickname. He's not that damn good yet. Defeat the Killer Bees. Pedigree from Levesque gets the job done. 55 is okay. Paul Levesque actually with a better in-ring performance than Big Bad Joe Kazana. So can't complain about that. He's getting better. He still needs to be scripted though. He hasn't quite got the psychology to carry a match just yet. We cut back to our good promos now. RVD and Raven, old enemies. They're in the same position tonight though, and they will be in the semi-finals next week after, quote, dominating their respective blocks. Neither man is particularly bothered about who they face, but they both agree that the final at High Voltage will be the return of SPW's greatest rivalry, with Raven and RVD going one-on-one with everything on the line. 81 for the joint promo, and we move forward to our first knockout match of the night as Davey Boy Smith gets the victory over Kakina Maximus. Cracking match, the pair of them putting in. Really, really good in-ring performances. 78 from Davey, 68 from Kakina. I think that gets Davey his win back on Kakina's stablemate Samu. I'm pretty sure beat him in the block, but it doesn't matter anyway now. Davey's through to the semi-finals. 82 for the match is a great way, but it will not be the best match of the night. I can all but guarantee it, because Ricky Steamboat's in the main event. Scott Hall then makes his SPW debut. The former Diamond Stud is in no rush whatsoever to get in the ring. He's going to bide his time and pick the right spot before he does so. He's a veteran and does not need to prove himself to anyone. And when he finds a worthy opponent, he'll get in the ring and the fans will absolutely love it. Now, this is code for me saying Hall is a bit of a drunk and a drug user and his stamina is completely shot, so we're going to use him sparingly, but he can still cut a good promo. 76, cracking way to start things. if we can just keep him over through promos and then let him do the job to a up-and-coming face at some point, that's what we're going to use him for the next 3 years. So there we go. Moving on to that main event, and it only gets an 80, which is a real shame, actually. I'm not quite sure why, but Steamboat only got an 88. Mero got a 77. Mero was off his game, and the creative finish was a failure. So there you go. That's what happens when you use creative finishers. This one should have been rated better. It really should. But only gets an 80, which is just a real shame, really. 23 minutes, though, diving crossbody. Steamboat, despite his potential injuries after the Goliath attack a couple of weeks ago, he's still fit and well and gets himself into the semi-finals. But despite being a winner, he doesn't look like a winner. Raven hits the ring and clobbers Steamboat with the world title. Davey Boy tries to rush in to make the save, but RVD cuts him off. RVD and Raven lay out their respective opponents, and then they square up as they realise that victory for each other on Unleashed next week will mean they will face each other in the finals on pay-per-view at High Voltage. This has been the first MTV broadcast of Unleashed, and it leads with four of our biggest stars in the ring to close the show. Raw, RVD and Raven about to get contract extensions, close the show on a high. 82 to close it, 80 overall. Could have been better. I think with that main event being a better match, we would have got a higher rating, obviously. But still, can't complain too much. 24 regions increasing their popularity. Hopefully we get a nice boost in the US. Finance-wise, we're up to 572 now from that broadcast revenue increase. That's the only thing that's increased. More broadcast revenue. About 130 grand extra is what's coming in, I think, roughly. But that's good enough for me. Popularity recap is up to 72 in the Great Lakes. Not quite boosted everywhere just yet, but we are kind of at the end of the month anyway. So it's not to be surprised, really. We'll get a better gain next month, having the better coverage. But we're still edging towards big, basically. We need to get the Great Lakes up to 77. That's when we'll reach that level. Canada's still growing nicely. UK and Europe also getting a little bit of a boost as we go through. But that is the final Unleashed of April. We'll be back in a sec. Well, no, we'll check that nobody's come in with any counter offers for either Raven or RVD. And then the next shows will be Unleashed and High Voltage back to back. Unleashed will have the semi-finals. So RVD will face Davey Boy. Steamboat will face Raven. Massive matches. And then the final will happen on High Voltage. So the winner of those two matches will go on to the pay-per-view to face each other for the Power Driver Grand Prix. Let's just double check there's no offers come in. There has been an offer. Wing have made a bid. That's not being seriously considered. Good. 2 year for 150 grand a month. That's a lot of money they're willing to pay. Unleashed comes in 4.6 million people. A 6.2 TV rating. MTV is really boosted there. Ultimate Dragon signed with CMLL for a night. Kid Cash is off on tour with New Japan, but don't care about that. Raven is still going to be ours. Let's just quickly check that increase from the show history here. So MTV gets 3.8 million, whereas A&E the week before, where is it? 2.2. So what's that? 1.6 million extra people watched because we were on MTV. So that is going to help the bottom line no end, and that bottom line needs to be helped. We're making so much more money than last month, but we're going to get a big chunk of tax on that as well. So broadcast revenue's up excellently. We've got 5 days left in the month. Obviously the first, when we're back, the first, is it the first when we're at Unleashed? Where are we? High Voltage will be the 1st of May. So we'll come back and check the finances at the beginning of the month before we go through those two shows that we're going to book. And I will let you know if either Raven or RVD agrees to their extension. And we'll move forward for the final. We're finally at the end of the Power Driver Grand Prix. So stay tuned. We'll get that done in a second. And we're back, and it's the 1st of May, so we'll go through the finances, although it was pretty much the same as last month. We made more, but paid more tax, so... No, actually, no, we didn't pay more tax. We had more miscellaneous. Slightly more general cost. Don't know what that's all about. Legal fees are still coming in. Eventually we'll get an idea of what that cost is for the A&E contract that we pulled out of 4 events, but we'll come to that when it ever happens. But strong enough month. Another 1.2 million off the debt. So we'll get there by the end of the year, I think. Probably start making some more money at some point as well. I'm not checked in on merchandise, I don't think, for a while. We're making 2% progress every week, and we're still slowly chugging along. 76% now to get up to level 7 of 10. Last month, it was all Ricky Steamboat. He made 100k for overall, and we got 60 of that, basically, from his nice fat contract. Everyone else is lagging way behind him, but there we go. The upgrade is continuing. We will not slow down on the rapid improvements to the upgrading. Right, it's Unleashed now, and then High Voltage. We're just going to go in and do it. That's basically what's going to happen. We've got the TV taping ready and booked. We haven't finished pre-booking the pay-per-view, so we'll pause between the two. But because it's pay-per-view night, we won't give anyone the night off, and we will continue to be in the Thompson Bowling Arena. But obviously, because it's the TV show first, we don't need to finalise any broadcasters, booking team. Everything's fine. I've got loads of stuff. I'm not bothering to spend more creative energy. Locker room incidents beforehand. Scott Hall had a blazing argument with with Jim Brunzell. Yep, okay. Jamie Dundee's here, by the way. He's one of the new jobbers. He's got into a huge row already with Super Delphine. Wonderful. Ricky Steamboat trained 12 people, and that's it. A couple of rows, nothing really to worry about. We can't inspire because it's not quite been... how many days is it? Oh, it's TV. We can't do it on the TV. That's why. I think we're at the point where we can do it again now. But still, let's move on. We'll do it before the pay-per-view. Right. Let's just get straight into the TV taping. There's two really big matches, so we'll just do that, I guess. Closing with this angle, and then the main event is going to be Steamboat Raven. Yes, we are happy it's not a world title match. Then we also want to go. We're going to go back to back RVD, Davey Boy, Steamboat Raven as the two co-main events of the TV, and obviously the winners will face each other later on in the night. Essentially, it's back to back. They're going to be knackered by the end of the night. They're going to probably be wrestling for nearly an hour between them all, and we have just got a couple of angles and four matches, 4 angles, because we've got those two long. What's the word? Semi-finals. That's the one we're going for. Right, so we're just going to go straight into the TV taping, and then we'll do more on the pay-per-view. We'll do some pre-show matches on the pay-per-view and make sure more people are on the card than are not. But we'll just go straight into episode 166, obviously at the Thompson Bowling Arena. And Dusty Rhodes starts the show. He's heard what Terry Funk has been saying. If the fire has indeed been reignited, let's run Rhodes versus Funk back again and see who's still got it. The American Dream doesn't want to waste any time. He wants a last man standing match tonight on pay-per-view on High Voltage, and it's a superb promo from Rhodes. Of course it is. Had the crowd in the palm of his hand the entire time. 92 is a great way to start the show, and that is why we did it. Regal and Storm team up to face Perry Saturn and Joey Maggs, who is leaving soon. Regal made Maggs submit with the Regal stretch to earn himself a Junior Heavyweight Championship match later in the night. Saturn carried in terms of in-ring performance. Storm and Regal in the mid-50s, Saturn in the 60s. Maggs is leaving, so don't worry about that. He's just there to provide a warm body for Saturn to tag with. 65 overall. And then we go to Samu, who is finally mentioning that he's the TV champion again because of the Piledriver Grand Prix. We have not focused on our belts at all. He struggled a little bit going off script, but he's still the television champion. And later tonight, he wants a new challenger, so it's open challenge season once again. 77 for his promo, and we will be defending the TV championship at High Voltage. Not on TV. Obviously. Goliath then destroyed the Dublin Destroyer, and they did not have any chemistry whatsoever, and it was a bit of a dud at 53. Not what we need. We need to get Goliath more over. We just wanted someone to basically have a loss to him, but that's not good at all. Stunts his growth a little bit probably, but moving on, it's still a victory. RVD then cuts a stinker of a promo. Of course, it's stinker of a promo week for RVD. Clear that the only reason that Davey Boy beat him was because Goliath made an error. If you remember, Goliath interfered, accidentally hit RVD, Davey got the win. But Van Dam doesn't make errors because he's the best damn wrestler, and there'll be no outside interference tonight, so Davey will feel just how good RVD is in the ring. Struggled a little bit, obviously, without script, of course. 63. Hopefully the two main event matches will pull things back, and we'll have the go-home show will, like it's been in the last few months, the Go Home show has been rated higher than the pay-per-view, so we'll see if that happens again. Match semi-final number 1 only gets an 81. RVD off his game a little bit, but he does get the job done. It took him 20 minutes and 39 seconds, but 5-star Frog Splash is enough to get Van Dam the victory over Davey Boy. 78s for both of them. So obviously the rating for the wrestling got 78. Overall, 81. Hoping for a little bit better, but I think we said this last time. One of them was off their game when they did their match last time, so never mind. It's RVD this time, and then the main event should hopefully be even better. It's only an 80. Okay, what's going on? Only an 80 for Steamboat and Raven. Steamboat is an 88, Raven a 77. The near certainty creative finish was a failure, so that's going to have hampered the score overall, and that's worrying because, well, this is going to be a future world title match at some point, regardless of who wins the Grand Prix. Obviously, Raven lost to Steamboat, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Diving crossbody from Steamboat, 22 minutes. Great match, but not as great as it could have been, apparently, which is a real shame, but we move on. 80 for the match rating overall, and the post-match angle is a 92, but it's a bit late for that. Steamboat has his arm raised, and Raven is furious. He drags himself back to his feet, grabs his world title, and Steamboat doesn't see it coming, even though he should, but he's a dumb babyface, and Raven tries to take his head off. He puts the boots in, and the world champion screams that this was not supposed to happen over and over again, until security and agents drag him away. High Voltage is next, get buying the pay-per-view. But there we go. Overall, we get an 82, which is beatable in terms of the overall rating. The pay-per-view can do better than that, put up in 34 regions, so that's good as well. I don't know whether, because we're on MTV, that we can have the ratings have pinged a little bit for some reason. Anyway, right, we're just going to flick through and use all the broadcasters we are going to use for this one. It's pay-per-view time. Use that selection. Right, we'll be back in a second when we've booked the whole pay-per-view and running it. So stay right there. Do not move. Don't move. Unless you need a cup of tea, then go and get a cup of tea and then come back. But pause the video. Don't let it play on its own. Yes. Okay then, the pay-per-view is ready and we're about to get straight into High Voltage. Couple of pre-show matches, so pretend, you know, they happen at some point before the TV happen. We forget about it. TV follows straight into pay-per-view, but we do it every time, so don't worry. Right, those pre-show matches, 21,678 sell out at the Thompson Bowling, by the way. Debuting Vampire Warrior defeats the Patriot, gets a 50. Pretty decent, really. Adequate gimmick for his vampire gimmick. Decent in-ring performance at 44. Obviously, he's not quite as over as the Patriot. So Patriot was a little bit annoyed, or unhappy rather, to put him over, but he did in the end because I told him to. 50 for the opener on the pre-show, and we move into some more new guys turning up as well. So Jack Victory, Jamie Dundee, Sonny Trout, Billy Black defeats Sagrado, Mags, Guerrera, and Psychosis in an 8-man tag. Not the only 8-man tag of the night. In terms of who's put in a good performance of the new guys, Billy Black, he'll be used quite well. Jamie Dundee is 53 as well, and the other two in the 40s. So can't really complain about that, can you? No? I'll be happy with that. 55 overall is fine and dandy. Right, moving on to the show itself, and we start with Raven, the world champion. He is seething after his loss earlier tonight on Unleashed. He vows to make Steamboat suffer whether he wins the Grand Prix or not. Raven is then joined by Scott Hall, who tells him that they've both been booked in an all-star match tonight, and he's not happy about it either. Two men come to an understanding and decide to watch each other's backs tonight, as Hall suggests that he might be able to help with his dragon problem. 80 for the promo. Was probably expecting it to be a little bit better, but not a bad start whatsoever. Moving on to our opening contest, and it sees Steven Regal defeat Perry Saturn for the Junior Heavyweight Championship after Lance Storm interferes again. Regalplex gets the job done for Regal this time. Both men in the strong performances, and he gets a 62 overall rating. You can't complain about that one for our lowest tier championship, as Saturn passes it over to Regal now, and hopefully this is the start of Regal getting a little bit more over. But still, good match, good way to start the show. Moving on to another tag match, and this one gets the same rating, 62, as Big Bad, above average Joe Kazana and Paul Levesque of the above average team defeat Super Delphine and Super Crazy, the super team, I guess. Inverted Indian Deathlock is enough for the submission over Delphine. Kazana with a 64. Levesque up to 54 now for his in-ring performance. That's good. 62 for the match rating itself. And that's not the end of the above average team, as the Kid and the Angus King, not the King, face off against the Hardy Brothers. Kane loses, though, as an Omega event gets the job done. Matt Hardy, that is, gets the victory. Hardy Brothers make their 10th defense of the tag titles. Jeff Hardy, again, head and shoulders above everyone else in ring. 68 for the overall performance. Some good chemistry included for everyone there, but good tag team match. I've got an idea about what to do with the tag team titles, but I'm just waiting on someone else to join the company first before that can happen. A little bit of spoilers there, but we'll see. 68. By the way, speaking of new people joining, Kerry Von Erich, I think he has agreed his contract now, so that's good. 68 though for the match, and we move on to another match. Obviously, it's full of matches. The Throne of Savagery, Kokina Maximus, Haku and Konga are back and bigger and stronger than ever. They defeat Angel Azteca, Van Hammer and Stevie Ray. Belly-to-belly suplex from the future, current Yokozuna, former Yokozuna I guess by this point. And he defeats Stevie Ray. We get 69, which is a very nice match rating, and we're just ticking along nicely with our middle-of-the-road matches so far. It's strange to say that a high 60 is middle of the road, but it kind of is, and wow. Okay, that is a promo. Goldberg's here, like Maven. Goldberg's here, and he accepts the open challenge for the TV Championship. He tells Samu that Goldberg is next, and he does a fantastic job. A 90 rating for a Goldberg promo. Now, I need to push him more, I think. I think that's what that's saying. Push Goldberg more. And funnily enough, that's what we did. And it gets a 78. Goldberg defeats Samu with a jackhammer in 9 minutes, 39 seconds to win the TV Championship. Samu has been a good hand, very good hand, in fact, as the TV champion. He's kind of not been focused on the TV title because of the Power Driver Grand Prix, but Goldberg is now the new TV champion. At 55 for his in-ring performance, ain't great, but the match overall got a 78, and Goldberg is hopefully going to get over like wildfire after that promo. We're going to give him the mic more often. Just simple, I'm next, you're next, who's next, no one knows, gets a 90. Excellent. Match itself good at 78. Then we get our all-star 8-man tag, and we see Raven, Christian Cage, Marcus Bagwell, and Scott Hall defeat Davey Boy, Brutus, Mark Merrow, and Tatsumi Fujinami after Raven pinned Fujinami after his DDT. Generally speaking, everyone did pretty good. Even Scott Hall, with his no stamina, was protected, so he did well. 73 for the match rating is good. And it's just basically to get everyone on the card. Raven is a 77. Obviously, he's already put in a big shift earlier in the night, as has Davey Boy. Merrow with a 79 as well. They were the top 3 performers out of the 8 of them. But a good sub-main, third match from the top. There we go. Dusty Rhodes then heads to the ring. He's about to be starting his match against Terry Funk, but he's greeted with an attack from behind from Funk. The old Funker is not waiting for the bell, and he whips Dusty with a cowbell, smacks him over the head, and it looks like the last man standing match is on, and Terry Funk is a star with white hot momentum, and he is turning heel. Don't cock it up. Complete success. Excellent. 88 for the angle. Leads into a nostalgia match of sorts. Funk, Rhodes, last man standing. Gets a 74, which you can't grumble at all for these two men. Both men in the mid-60s in their in-ring performance, not their age. And it's a bionic elbow that leaves the Funker down and out for the 10 count. I left this one up to the guys in the ring to decide, and the road agent to decide who was going to win. And it was Rhodes. 74, good match. Not great though, and we need a great match to finish things off to really put this card over the top. And it is the Power Driver Grand Prix final. Steamboat against Van Dam. And it's only a 92. Van Dam off his game with an 82. Steamboat with an 89. But 23 minutes, 47 seconds. An absolute bell-to-bell classic. Even though I'm disappointed with the 92. As Steamboat finally gets the job done. Diving crossbody is enough. He gets his win back over RVD from the block match. And Steamboat wins the Pile Driver Grand Prix. It was the final match in the Grand Prix knockout stage. 92 rating for it. A great way to end the card. This one should hopefully give us a really high overall rating. But the show isn't over yet. We've got to give Steamboat his trophy. And we've also got to destroy it. Steamboat's the winner of the 1998 Power Driver Grand Prix. The Dragon has done it and he's awarded the brand new trophy, but those celebrations don't last long as Goliath enters the ring and clobbers Steamboat with a massive right hand. Drops him with a chokeslam. Dragon is down and out, and then a massive slam of the trophy as well for good measure. Destroys the new trophy in the process. Of course, it's a trophy in wrestling. It's going to get destroyed. Goliath will not be overlooked. Steamboat may be the #1 contender, but he's got to get by the Giant first before he can fight for the world title. 73 is not amazing, but it is good, and it closes the show, and we get a 90 overall rating for the show. Where does that sit against our absolute best? I'm not sure. 30 popular regions increase their popularity. 5 Canadian regions are stunted because, well, we're at the point, I guess, where we can't grow any more in them from pay-per-views like this. Who knows? But 90 overall is a fantastic way to close the night. Let's address the crowd, the locker room rather. Let's give Steamboat some praise. Raven, you can be praised as well. And who else put in a good shift tonight? What's his name? Goldberg. Goldberg, you can be awesome as well. Why not? Make that speech. Make everyone happy. Steamboat's pleased. Raven's pleased. Goldberg's pleased. No injuries to report. Finance-wise, made $3 million on the night, which is ridiculous. But still, we'll lose loads of that in tax, I'm sure, and paying for people. Popularity recap is just slightly crazy. We need to get to 53 now, don't we, in one of these regions here to get everywhere, to basically get better coverage in Canada, which is something we are desperately going to need, I'm sure. Quite why everywhere in Europe went up when... Oh no, because the TV happened as well. I was going to say, we only had the pay-per-view on a few regions, but that's because of the TV as well. So Central Europe's at 25 now, Northern Europe's 24, everywhere else is going 22s or 23s. In the US, 78, 78, that's 2, 79, 3, 79, 4, 2, 3, 73s. It's not going to be long until we're at big. Give it a couple of months, we will be a big company, which is just ridiculous. UK, some good gains in the UK as well, 50, 57, 31, 34, and those two regions getting some growth going there. Growth in Japan as well, up to 61 in Shikoku now, 70 and 71 across the board. Everywhere else, really good popularity gains. Not doing a media scrum though, that would be dangerous of me to suggest, to even think about suggesting or doing a media scrum. It's 98, no one cares. Anyway, that was a cracking pay-per-view. I can't remember exactly whether that puts it number 2 or pay-per-view of all time or number 1. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure we had a show in the 90s. I think Glory Road was in the 90s. Gonna have to check, obviously. That's what I'm going to do. As mentioned, Kerry Von Erich has agreed his contract. Scott Steiner also agreed his contract earlier in the episode. Remember that. We are negotiating with another star from WCW whose contract is up, who may or may not factor into some future storylines. You'll probably see that here. My ATV deal has only got 4 episodes remaining. That's fine. Kid Cash has had his little tour with New Japan. RVD's rival bid. WCW offered him something. He's not bothered by that. WWF have offered him something. There, he's not bothered about that. We had to up it to 85 grand a month, by the way. So that's up from 70, I think, from the initial offer. But Bagwell doesn't believe Sonny Trout is connected with the fans. Okay, High Voltage is up to above average. Buys 1.125 million. TV views overall just under 2.5. Unleashed was over at 4.5 now, so we're getting loads and loads of views from that. Excellent stuff. Let's just check show history. I'm sure Glory Road got a 94. It did, yeah, I thought it was. So best matches, best events. Top 3 are all from this year. Of course they are. Every single one of the top 5 is Steamboat related. 3 TV shows up there. And 2 pay-per-views. Matches-wise, that RVD Steamboat match was not as good as the original RVD Steamboat match. But we got a 92 from it anyway. So it's 4th. Steamboat is now 1-2 with RVD. 3, 4 with RVD. 5. So 4 of the 5 top matches are Steamboat and RVD, basically. Attendance-wise, it's what it was at the Thompson Bowling Arena. Pay-per-view buy rate, though, is where it's gone even higher. TV rating has unleashed up to 6.25, and it's all unleashed recently as the top viewership. Of course it is. Well, that's it. We're not far off being big. We need to be 77 in 5 regions. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. and we're close. 73 is not far away at all. Canada's growing, and we need one of these 3 regions up to 53 before we can get better coverage there. Mexico, we are still working on getting these up to 40. They're going to happen in the next 2 nights, actually, because we've got some more shows in Mexico. So we'll get them up to 32, hopefully, by the next episode. UK is continuing to grow. I can't remember what we need for Sky Sports, but it's like 50 in 6 regions or something like that. So we've still got a while to go there. Japan is continuing to grow. Europe is getting a little bit disjointed because we've got different coverage everywhere, but still going well, and we don't care about those. I did want to actually check. I do this. I focus on broadcasters. That's the word I'm looking for. Far too often, I think. So I need 4. Oh, so it's 40 in 5, not 50 in 6. Was it Sky Sports 1? It's 55 in 6 for Sky Sports 1. Sky Sports 2, 40 in 5 regions. We are not that far away from that, are we? 1, 2, 3. We've got 3 so far. We just need to get a couple more of these up, which we'll continue to do by being on ITV, and then we can get the rest of Europe back involved as well and get on Sky Sports. Now I know if we just reset here, ITV has very big in a few regions, but medium in others, but it's getting big across the whole gamut, basically. And then we can eventually get on Sky Box Office as well. It's the long-term plan. Sky 1, what do we need for Sky 1? 65 and 6. We can do that soon, I'm sure. But okay, right, fine, that's good. Championship situation is like this. Steamboat won the inaugural Power Driver Grand Prix, got his trophy broken. We've got King of Combat coming in a few months, 6 months. World Champion is still Raven. He is now furious at the fact that Steamboat is the #1 contender. Junior Heavyweight Champion is now Steven Regal. He is under the limit, don't we worry. Tag Champs are still the Hardys. TV Champ is Goldberg, which is, in fact, let's check how Goldberg and Goliath are doing in terms of popularity. Goldberg's up to the high 50s now after that victory. He was 52 before the show. If you look here, you can see side by side. He's gone up nicely from that victory over Samu. And Goliath is in the 60s now. He hasn't really changed since the beginning of the month, but he didn't really do much on pay-per-view. He had a dud of a match on Unleashed and then was involved in the post-match angle. But he's getting over still, really getting over. Considering he was 22s when we started, he's now in the 60s. That's really good. Dusty's in the 70s. Where's Funk after he lost? 60s. There's plenty of people over. In fact, let's do that check. 60 US. Just to see who's really over. Andre's still there, but obviously he's going soon. Brutus is in the high 60s. Christian's still in the mid 60s. Davey's in the 70s. Rhodes is still in the 70s. In fact, has Rhodes gone up? Rhodes has gone up a little. That's good. Goliath's in the 60s. Jeff Hardy's in the 60s. Kerry will be joining us soon. He's in the 60s. Kakina, I've got him over, haven't I? Look at that. He's just come on leaps and bounds. Consistent booking. That's what that is. Melrose high 70s, Bagwell's low 60s, Ravens in the 80s for some regions. Steamboat hasn't got back up to 85 just yet after losing a couple of matches. RVD's at 72. He's kind of just ticking along where he has been there. Samu's dropped a little bit, I think. Yeah, he was in 70 for a couple of regions. Now he's not. Scott Hall, 64. He's gone up since leaving WCW, of course. Steiner. Hey, I'm waiting for Steiner. I can't wait for Steiner to join. He's going to be good. Fujinami Funk. And the kid's still somehow in the 60s. Right, that's enough of the checking in of where we are. We're finally out of the Power Driver Grand Prix. Our next pay-per-view is Doomsday on the 5th of June, so that'll be the next episode. We've obviously got TV tapings along the way. Before that, ignore the Mexican shows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But until then, make sure you are subscribed, get liking the video, get over to Patreon if you want to. Thanks a lot to everyone who is already a member over on Patreon. Your name's coming up on screen in a second. And that's it. That's the end of it. I'll see you on the next episode of Local to Global. Thanks for watching.